Good evening. I'd like to call tonight's meeting of the San Mateo Planning Commission to order. If you please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll begin with the roll call, please.
Commissioner John Ebnetter.
Here.
Commissioner Ramiro Maldonado.
Present.
Commissioner Ellen Mallory.
Present.
Vice Chair Mike Etheridge.
Present.
Chair Diane Whitaker.
Here. Thank you. First thing on tonight's agenda is the consent calendar, which consists of the minutes of the Planning Commission meeting of April 9th, 2019, and the minutes from the Planning Commission meeting of April 23rd, 2019. The April 23rd minutes are going to be held over until the next meeting. So do we have any edits to the minutes from April 9th? You weren't there. Okay, can I have a motion, please?
I motion that we approve the minutes from the April 9th meeting.
Second.
Second, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain?
Abstain.
Okay. So that's 401. And 3-2? The 401 is tonight's vote. So you're making a correction to the minutes, is that it?
I thought we were talking about the April 9th minutes.
Which we just approved.
Okay, there were 2 people excused that night, 3 people present.
Oh.
So there should be a 3-2 vote, not a 4-1 vote. Am I reading the minutes wrong?
It could be a 4-1 vote if one of the absent commissioners watched the videotape, but I don't know if that's the case.
Who was listed as absent? Mike and?
John.
John.
I'd like to make a motion to change my vote. Abstain.
Okay. Okay, let's revote. All those in favor of the motion to approve the April 9th, 2019 minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain?
Abstain.
Okay. Thank you. Now we'll move on to the April 23rd minutes and need a motion to continue that.
I motion that we continue the April 23rd minutes to the next meeting.
A second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. So those we will see at our next meeting. Now move on to public comment. This is the portion of the agenda where individuals can address the commission on items not on tonight's agenda. Do we have any speaker slips for this item?
No.
No. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to address the commission on a topic other than tonight's? Okay, seeing none, I'll close the public comment period and move on to the public hearing.
Good evening, and thank you, Chair Whitaker and members of the Planning Commission. My name is Rendell Bustos, Associate Planner and Staff Planner for the project before you this evening, which is the public hearing for a condominium conversion for a duplex located at 937 and 939 North Idaho Street, PA 2018-042. Before we start, I should note that one public comment was submitted to staff after distribution of this evening's packet. A hard copy of the comment has been distributed to the Planning Commission. Secondly, in discussing attachment 2, the conditions of approval, Staff and the applicant have agreed to present to the commission a modification to condition of approval number 14. The main change was the addition of a phrase at the beginning of the conditions, and that's highlighted so that the condition reads final subdivision public report. If required by the Department of Real Estate, the applicant shall furnish the Department of Community Development with a copy of the Department of Real Estate's conversion final subdivision public report when issued, as well as to prospective purchasers. A copy of attachment 2 with the revision has been distributed to the Planning Commission as well. So beginning with the project site, 937 and 939 North Idaho Street is a single 7,646 square foot parcel on the southern side of North Idaho Street, just west of Highway 101. The existing neighborhood consists of a mix of both one and multi-family residences with a variety of architectural styles. The subject site consists of an existing two-family dwelling or a duplex. The project site is zoned R3 and is designated by the general plan as medium-density multiple family dwellings. The project before you this evening requires 2 entitlements. Firstly, a site plan and architectural review for the conversion of an existing carport into a 2-car garage. Secondly, a vesting tentative parcel map has also been requested for the condominium conversion of 2 existing duplex units into 2 condominium units. So the main physical alteration to the duplex is to convert an existing carport into a garage, as shown in orange. The garage would accommodate two vehicles and would provide each unit with at least 1 covered space as required by the zoning code. The other improvement is the addition of bicycle enclosures shown in blue. So typically alterations and expansions of duplexes don't trigger Planning Commission review. The reason why this project is before the Planning Commission is due to the request for the conversion of the existing rental duplex into condominiums so that each unit may be sold individually. For a bit of history, the city's condominium conversion ordinance was adopted in 1975. Prior to the ordinance's adoption, the city had received several condominium conversion applications, which created the need to provide tenant protection and to maintain a balance of rental and ownership housing. And to see this through, the ordinance began requiring Planning Commission approval. The ordinance also put into place several other requirements, such as proper noticing to tenants, relocation assistance to existing tenants, and assessments of the existing structure for noise, energy, and structural safety. And importantly, also, the existing development must also meet current zoning standards. As it relates to the project before you this evening, the property did not have tenants 90 days prior to filing, provided adequate property and structural reports, and lastly, complies with all applicable current zoning standards. And as shown in this table, the proposed project, for example, is below the maximum floor area ratio, maximum floor area, and the maximum number of units. The project also complies with the minimum setbacks, parking, and open space requirements. And to conclude, staff is recommending that the Planning Commission motion to approve the site plan and architectural review and vesting tentative parcel map based on the findings for approval in Attachment 1 and subject to the conditions of approval in Attachment 2 with the modification to condition of approval number 14, final subdivision public report. This concludes staff's presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions the commission may have. The applicant and the applicant's architect are present this evening and will be providing a brief presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Does the commission have any questions of staff? No? Okay. I'm going to move on to the applicant's presentation.
Good evening, commissioners and staff. My name is Howard Bletcher. I'm the architect working with the applicant, Robert Zlatic, and I'm going to say a few words after Robert says just a few brief statement.
Hi, I'm Robert Zlatic, owner of the 937-939 North Idaho, and I've been updating the unit, and I'm in the process of trying to convert it from a duplex to a condo, and I'm going to keep it as a rental property for in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
And as noted, the applicant's intention is to keep both units as rentals. And just a brief note about the process, to meet the zoning requirements for the condo conversion, we're actually going through many improvements to the property. So in the end, it'll actually be an improvement to the neighborhood between the upgraded sidewalk that we're going to have to replace and the driveway apron and the street shoulder, as well as preparing the covered off-street parking requirement, and also the bicycle parking. So, you know, there'll be a dedicated space for bicycles and whatever the tenants will have to store instead of potentially around the property. So, that's all the immediate comments I need to make, and available for any questions you might have.
Thank you. Questions of the applicant?
I have one question. How long has the property been vacant?
How long has the property been vacant?
Approximately 4 years.
Okay, interesting. I just drove by there today, and there's a lot of, maybe it's from the neighbors itself or not from your property, a lot of older kids' toys and older kids' outside equipment outside of the property. So are those not from the tenants, or are those from the neighbors?
It's definitely been vacant as long
Okay.
as I've been working on this project. So they must, you know, because it's vacant, they may just use the front yard.
Any more? No? John? Ellen? Mike? No questions. Rendell, do we have a site plan that we could look at? What was the one just before that you had? Yeah, this is actually works better. So this up here is where the required bicycle storage is going to be?
That's correct.
Okay. And here are the two uncovered parking spaces?
That's right.
I couldn't find the location of the trash and recycling containers. Have you
We
figured that
were
out?
either going to put them in the garage or near the bicycle parking, but a little bit forward of there. There is a 6-foot, if you look on the actual site plan, there is a 6-foot fence along that whole side of the property. So it's screened, which is required by the zoning code.
I was there this afternoon. The fence is there in pieces along that side.
Well,
I mean, it's here and it's here, but
yeah,
there's
so
this big
that,
gap.
yeah, we were going
Yeah.
to put it in the area where there
Yeah.
actually is a fence.
Okay. I guess those are the questions I have. So move on to comments. Would someone like to start?
I think we should open.
Oh, I'm sorry. Public comment. Do we have any speaker slips for tonight?
No.
No. Is there anyone in the audience who? No. Okay. So we'll close the public comment on this item and move on to comments.
Unless you have questions for the applicant, can they sit down? Or?
Oh, sure, yes. Please, please have a seat.
I think I was.
Comments?
Through the chair.
Yes.
I want to congratulate the applicant on leaving the property as a rental property. Understand that the housing market here in the Bay Area is dwindling down, so having the opportunity to have an additional two condominiums as open to the rental market is a big plus for the city.
Through the chair. I'll agree with those comments, and also I agree with the applicant's statement that this project will contribute to improving the street and neighborhood and be a benefit to the property owners on that street.
Ellen?
And I'd like to say, excuse me, that I appreciate that the Spanish Revival architecture is being retained on the front building.
John?
Through the chair.
Yes.
I want to support what my fellow commissioners have said. I do like the project. Cleaning up that residence will look very nice for the area, and I am a big fan of the original architecture that you will be keeping in place. So thank you.
So as I mentioned, I did a walk by this afternoon. I live in the north central neighborhood, so I use that as an excuse to get my exercise today. The architecture of I'm assuming it was an original single-family home at one point, is very appealing, as my fellow commissioners have commented. And I would encourage the owner, to do anything that he can to upgrade the appearance of the back unit. It's serviceable, but it's not in keeping with the style of the front home, and doesn't really have any unique characteristics to it. It's basically a square box. So anything that you can do during the rehabilitation would be very much appreciated. So, any other comments? Nope. Okay, I'm looking for a motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion that the Planning Commission approve the site plan and architectural review for the construction of a 429 square foot attached garage investing tentative parcel map for the conversion of an existing duplex from single entity ownership to condominiums based on the findings for approval in attachment 1 and subject to the conditions of approval in attachment 2 with a modification to condition of approval 14 final subdivision public report.
I second that.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
And the decision is final unless appealed to the City Council in accordance with the San Mateo Municipal Code.
Thank you. So we'll move on to reports and announcements.
Yes, just a preview of upcoming meetings. This Saturday, we have another Home for All convening. This will be at Hillsdale High School, 9:30 to 11:30. The commission is invited to attend and observe, but again, participation, we're really encouraging people who are not normally involved in housing or other land use discussions in San Mateo.
Do we have to RSVP for that?
It would be helpful if you did.
Okay.
I think the attendance might be lower this one than the first one, but it just helps for planning.
Okay.
We do accept walk-ups. We had a number of walk-ups at the last meeting that we had at San Mateo High School. So certainly if you don't register, it doesn't mean you're going to be turned away. Our next meeting will be on May the 28th, which is the day after Memorial Day. We have the Bay Meadows Annual Review scheduled. This is an annual review of the development agreement for Bay Meadows. And also a public hearing for a decision, which would be final with the Planning Commission, on the Windy Hill project you reviewed in study session. On Friday of that week, May 31st, and we will be noticing this as an official Planning Commission meeting. I know that Commissioner Etheridge will not be in attendance, but we will be taking a tour of some parking lifts and automated parking structures in Oakland. Roscoe Motto is organizing that. He'll probably get a hold of it. Since it's a work day, he'll get a hold of you to see whether or not you want to meet here and we can provide transportation over there, or whether you want to meet us over in Oakland at the gathering point at City Lift. So Roscoe will be getting a hold of you separately just to see what your preferences are for that. The Cary School application, which the Commission most recently heard, will be going to the City Council on Monday, June the 3rd. And the next two meetings, Saturday, June the 8th, and Monday, June the 10th, are two public workshops, which is the next stage of the general plan, identifying areas of change. So there'll be workshops to identify potential areas of change, general plan subcommittee meeting after, a few weeks after that. It will come to the Planning Commission for review in July, ultimately to the council in August. So that's it. We don't have anything particularly scheduled for the meetings in June, but we'll see what develops there. And that concludes the staff announcements.
Any reports or announcements from the commission? No? Okay. Then we are adjourned. Thank you.